touchdown. He was stopped in his tracks by Robert Spillane. And just when it looked like it was over for a 2-yard loss, he bounces out of it and heads home for the score.
Flying in, you're going to see them meet. And they almost, I mean, this is impossible, right? Right there.
Hill, number 3 on the all-time Chiefs touchdown catch list with 1 tonight. Now just 1 catch shy of Otis Taylor. Here is Kelsey. Still going. Still going. Kelsey. Good night. Touchdown. Chiefs win it.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Arrowhead Asylum. My name is Jaymes Howell. To this side of me, my buddy Chase Riley. Chase, how you doing tonight, my man?
I am doing fantastic, sir. How about yourself?
Oh, we hanging in there. Put in a lot of days work. Kind of tired, but I'm excited to be able to get on here and do what we love to do. There we go.
Absolutely, cool. Sir.
So last week, we talked about, like the Bears game, and George Karlaftis had a big game. Isaiah Pacheco was like the talk, but we didn't really get to see much of him. So there was a lot leading into this game. And we got to play a little game that we like to play, that we like to call Guess the Chiefs Player. This week, we're going to kind of go over the Commanders game and give a little preview to the Green Bay game. But before we do that, I just want to go ahead and ask everyone to make sure that you like the stream. Share it out. Let's get a community of Chiefs fans out here together. And make sure you follow us, man. It takes like 5 seconds to hit that follow button or that subscribe button. That the bell notification helps out way more than you might think. You can find me at Arrowhead Asylum or on Twitter at JamesHow1. You can find my buddy Chase here at CR Media 1988. And what platforms are you on?
Yes, absolutely. You can find CR Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch.
Yeah, the whole spectrum.
The whole spectrum. Saturate the market is what I like to say.
Yes. Saturate the market.
Saturate the market.
All right, my man. Let's jump right into it. So Chiefs win against the Commanders. Like I said last week, when we lost, it still applies to this week. It's still preseason. So the score of the game doesn't really matter so much, except for the fact that Andy Reid did put an emphasis on closing the game out. He was like last week, it doesn't matter if it's the 1s in there or if it's the 4s in there. We got to close the game. And
absolutely,
they made sure to do that this week, and so that was a good takeaway. What was one of your biggest takeaways from this game?
How well this team is gelling together, the 1s and the 2s. You saw a couple really good drives by Patrick Mahomes, um, who looked flawless in both this game and last week's game. And then the defense is meshing well together, coming out and completing plays, completing tackles, and getting pressure on the quarterback, which is like we've talked about. There was not much of that last year, man. So it's very exciting to see the ones and the twos on that front seven getting pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, and we said it last week. Our biggest concern is the defensive backs. But if we can get pressure on the quarterback consistently, it's going to relieve our cornerbacks and our safeties so much that it will take that weakness and it'll just kind of be about above average. It's just going to help all the way across the board. Freddie Henderson, appreciate you tuning in tonight.
Absolutely.
The real Josh Elliott, I see you. Mama Bear's in the house. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So one of my biggest things, and I know that I'm really high. I made a post earlier. I said Caesars Entertainment, Caesars Sportsbook has the Chiefs at plus 1,100 to win the Super Bowl. And I love those odds. Go place your bet right now. That's their third favorite to win the Super Bowl. But go place your bet right now, even if it's just $100, because damn, this team looks good. They look so good.
Yeah, I mean, and even if it's even if it's preseason hype, like something I always tell everybody is watch the way they watch how they play, watch who's going in and the plays they're running and all that stuff. And that's what you can expect to see in the regular season. That's why I love watching like the ones come out, not the twos or the threes. I need to see the ones coming out in preseason and showing how much are we going to open this playbook up? What are we like? We may not see it in the first few weeks, but I want to see those little plays that they'll introduce in preseason. That it's like, okay, look for that down the road in a clutch game. Prime example, jet chip wasp.
Yeah. You never know when you might need it, but when it's there, these are the plays that you've been practicing all year long. So in that perfect moment, it's there. You can pull it out.
Absolutely.
So, but what I wanted to mention is, even though, I'm really high on the Chiefs right now, I think that you should go make this bet. You should go put $100 down on Kansas City to win it all. I think they're in mid-season form already, and that a lot of that's me being a homer, and I'm excited. I'm excited about it, but on the downside, I don't want to get too excited. And so I go back and I look at things to where, where can they improve? And I looked at Marquez Valdez-Scantling and his performance in this last game. And I just thought that him and the chemistry he has with Patrick Mahomes, it still seems to be a little bit off. And we didn't get to see Juju, so that those are the two new guys. But it just seems a little off. We've seen one play where he broke out more towards the sideline, where Mahomes threw it up more down the field, and the communication was off there, the chemistry was off there, and it seemed like Mahomes said, "Oh, that's on me. That's on me." Like the playbook was designed to go more towards the sideline. But Mahomes, seen something down the field and seen an opening and went to go ahead and take advantage of it, but they weren't on the same page. So,
Agreed.
that's something I look to kind of see improve as the season gets going, really. Not that it hasn't even started yet. There's still time to fix things like that. Not even that it's even a problem. And then that's what makes it so exciting about this team is that's me nitpicking at the team.
Right.
Something so simple like that.
Right. Yeah. And that's my thing is like I'm trying not to get overexcited about how good this team looks because it is preseason. Like we're gonna find out week 1. Arizona's a good team. So we're gonna find out week 1 just how good, the Chiefs have looked in preseason. But like I said, man, it's hard not to get excited about the way they're executing the plays out there. Pat's protection looks great. Um, and then the defense, I can't brag on that defense enough. Like it's weird to see the quarterback running for his life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to say the
Yep.
least.
Yep.
Another downside that I saw was the running backs. Now, while they're doing great catching passes out of the backfield, and I kind of think that's the way we're gonna run the ball this year. I would like to see more production on the ground. Our leading rusher was a quarterback, Shane Buechele. And then our second leading rusher was a backup quarterback, or a backup, the third string quarterback in Dustin Crum, or fourth string. And
Yeah.
and then it's Isaiah Pacheco with only 14 yards in 2 games. Now he's not getting full games, and I understand that. But man, I'd like to see something get going on the ground. What's your thoughts?
I agree. So, we've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who is, was a first round pick who's not looking too well. Looking like he may not get re-signed. He may not stay on the team. Um, I don't think it'll be anything drastic of him being let go before the beginning of the season, but I could see them not renewing his contract next year if he doesn't step up. So you've got a first round talent wasting time there. Then you've got, guys who can't stay healthy. But then on the other hand, you've got this hot kid, Isaiah Pacheco, and he, okay, I know you want to use him for these type of plays, but I think it's time. I think it's time we call that kid's number to start practicing with the ones and the twos in the backfield, so he can get some chemistry with Pat and see how well he runs the ball. Because like I said, like Billy just brought up, Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets hurt too much, man. He's not reliable. So like I said, he's another injury away from not making this team next year. So, and that's disappointing because he's a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like I said, I think it's time. Isaiah Pacheco has shown like he's got some explosiveness. So let's give him the ball a little bit more in this Green Bay game. Let's see how he runs that ball, because he may come in handy as a number 2 in the regular season if these guys can't stay healthy.
Yeah, and I also think that what's the kid's name? Jerick McKinnon. He showed up and he let everyone know that he hasn't gone anywhere. Jerick McKinnon kind of started picking it up at the end of last season, and I thought that he's a great receiving option out of the backfield. And that's exactly what we've seen in this last game. And he hasn't gone anywhere either. So, there's definitely been some heat applied to Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
And some pressure. And we'll see. Sometimes pressure, can form diamonds. Sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it'll just make you crumble.
Yep. Sometimes you wind up being the third string running back on the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns or something like that. So
I hear it. So George Karlaftis had another great game.
Absolutely.
Did you have that graphic?
I do. Let's
So he seems to be transitioning to the NFL quite well. And I
I
know,
like.
my buddy Billy here, he made a comment on a video that I had posted, and he's kind of right. It bugs me as well. Um, but in his sack celebration, which got better, his sack celebration from week 1 to week 2 got better, but he's already throwing up dollar signs.
Yeah.
This kid, I see the drive, but I believe it's for the wrong reasons. There it is. George Karlaftis, 31 rushing snaps, pass rushing snaps, 5 pressures, and 2 sacks. Which is, I mean, you're looking at 2 sacks in 2 games. It's not like, oh my God, but this is limited time we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, we're these guys are getting rotation, and but they're still playing against the ones and the twos on offense, and they're still making plays and bringing pressure, and yeah, I don't see why it's not exciting for a kid like Karl Office.
And I think that he's like a sponge right now. We've seen all kinds of videos from out at training camp where him and Frank Clark are spending time together after practice, and he's just absorbing. And that brings up another point that Frank Clark has kind of taken on a new role in this team, and he's kind of taken on this elder role, right?
Yeah,
He's taken on these young guys and he's taken them under their wings or under his wing, and I love that. I mean, because the guy, even though the production hasn't been there, for Frank, it was, and he knows what it takes to get the job done. He's got the moves, he's got the ability to get the job done. He's just had a couple injuries, and there's been a transition. There's been a couple different reasons that you could chalk up to where he just hasn't been as productive. Hopefully, he turns it around. We'll see. But the fact that he's taking his knowledge and he's passing it on, and that's very unselfish.
yeah. It shows a certain maturity that he's
Yes.
hopefully developing. Um, you know, I I I believe that we have a great talent in Frank Clark. But Frank is just one of those players that, like, he has to. He's almost had a lot of maintenance, so to speak. They have to they have to stay on him and watch him and stuff. So now, like, I feel like this maturity that he's developing will give him an opportunity to show the team, the fans, everybody that he's ready to put football first prior to whatever else he was doing outside of the team. So
Absolutely.
being coachable, helping younger players, stuff like that, stepping into a veteran role, and like I said, when you're stepping into that veteran role, it it forces you to have maturity, and I think that's what we're seeing. I think he's taking that veteran role pretty seriously. So he's maturing.
Absolutely. Um, Patrick Mahomes looked phenomenal again.
Of course.
Yeah, go ahead, talk to us about it.
so so Patrick, uh, there was a lot of questions about Patrick, like, coming into this season because of how last season ended, right? Like
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, it's still Patrick Mahomes. Like, there's no denying that Patrick is good, great. But like I said, that too deep safety look we talked about all year last year, and all this other stuff. So there was a lot of question marks going into this season. Like, okay, what Patrick Mahomes are we going to get? Are we going to get down 21-0 in the first half to the Houston Texans at home in the playoff game when the AFC Championship game is on the line? Maybe. Or are we going to get Patrick Mahomes from the Super Bowl that had no protection and was rushing for 500 and something yards on the field? Or are we going to get the Patrick Mahomes that lit up the scoreboard in the first half and let off the gas and shit the bed in the second half? The AFC Championship. Like I said, there was just a lot of questions of what Patrick we're going to get this year, and I think he looks better than 2019 Patrick.
Yeah. And the big question for me was, how is this change from the Tyreek Hill era going to affect Patrick?
I think
it made him better. I mean, I really do. I think they went out there and they said, okay, he's struggling with the cover two, because he did, and they all last season he battled with the cover two, and they went out there and they said, okay, we're going to give you a solution, and I don't think it was planned that they go out and get rid of Tyreek Hill, but when the opportunity arose like it did, and they seen that there was options out there, and Juju and MVS, and then they could go draft, and there was options in the draft, and all this and that, then I think they jumped on that opportunity to provide a solution for him, and he looks better. This whole team looks better than 2018.
Yeah. Levi Thrift says, I think he will perform better now that he has some height down the field with better clutch receivers.
I mean, you don't get much more clutch than what Tyreek Hill was.
Yeah,
but he does have some height. He does have bigger receivers, and he's just got more options as well. He said something in a press conference. He said it doesn't matter, what play it is. You get through your progression, and somebody's always open. There's always an open receiver somewhere. Yeah. And that's what they've kind of provided him, because our number one guy, which I would presume is MVS, right? He's borderline number one. Maybe.
Is MVS number one, or is Juju number one?
Either way, they're both borderline number one, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then our third guy is a borderline two. All of our guys are in better positions than or in worse positions than what they could be in other teams. Like McCole could be a legitimate number two on almost any team in the NFL. But he's here in Kansas City, so he's a three. So, and exactly. It's the same with Juju. If Juju's the number two, he could be a number one with almost any team in the NFL, but he's here in Kansas City, so he's the number two. So, I think that's really helped, open things up and given more options. And they're deeper too. You go and you look at like Justin Watson and Darius Fountain, Sky Moore. I mean, there's options all the way down to your fifth wide receiver.
Yeah. Go ahead, bud.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was it.
So, like I said, we talked about how Mahomes has spread the ball around. He had great poise, patience. I do want to talk about, this Blake Bell hip injury, though. Blake Bell seemed to have a pretty good game last week. And then, this week, we hear about the hip injury, and that he's gonna miss a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see it happen, right? 'Cause I hate to see the injury, but this and I really hate it because this could be the end of Blake Bell's career here in Kansas City. And I say that because right behind Blake Bell is Noah Gray and it's Jody Fortson. And I don't think Kansas City keeps 4 tight ends.
I don't see it either, sir.
I just think that this could be it for Blake Bell, and it's really unfortunate that you lose your spot due to an injury. But with the way Jody Fortson has performed, the way Noah Gray has stepped up, and if they get an opportunity throughout the season due to this injury and they continue to perform this way mid-season, that's it for Blake Bell.
Yeah, which it kind of throws us into our next couple segments. So first, we'll talk about your boy, Jody Fortson. So
yeah. Yeah,
That's
did you
so
see
weird,
that? That Facebook user?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show a name for whoever commented the fire emojis. But anyway,
Yeah, but we appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
Jody Fortson had another big game. Well, I would say another big game, but not really. That's not necessarily true. He just had a big game, right? And I was glad because I've been banging this Jody Fortson drum forever, all off season. And then in the first preseason game, he did nothing. And I was just like, come on, man. Like, you're making me look dumb out here. And then and so he came in and 4 catches, 19 yards, 2 TDs. A solid performance from Jody Fortson. Now, this is not a guy that's going to stretch the field a whole bunch. You're not going to see Jody Fortson, from the opposing 30 yards, 40 yards down the field like we do Travis Kelce, right? You're just not going to see Jody Fortson do that a whole bunch. We might see it occasionally, but in the red zone, he's going to be a huge target. And I would even go as far as say you might think about picking him up in some PPR fantasy leagues in like the late rounds because he's going to get targets and he's going to get touchdowns.
Absolutely. Hunter Henderson, man, appreciate you joining in tonight. He says Jody is going to tear up the red zone all season.
I'm telling you.
I don't doubt it. Jody had 4 catches, 19 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game, and you know what that tells me? Exactly what Hunter Henderson just said. That he's going to be a red zone threat.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be that. He's going to be the second tight end out there, standing next to Travis Kelce. So when they run that goal line set, Kelce goes one way, and Jody goes the other. Jody will be that dark horse that nobody's looking at, and will be able to pick up that ball.
And they love to throw that route right there to the pylon.
Yep.
That little comeback route, they love it, and he runs it so good. He runs it so well.
That was exactly what I envisioned when I just said that. Kelce goes up in a curl, and then Fortson goes out to the pylon to catch that ball and just slide right in.
Uh-huh. And they probably have it, and of course I don't know. I don't see the playbook, but they would probably have it as like an option route right there. And depending on how the defensive back plays him, he can either come back to that pylon or he can go to the back corner.
Exactly.
One or the other. If that defensive back creeps up on that pylon route, that comeback route, then he'll just take off to that back corner. And, then it boils down to what the chemistry is like with Patrick Mahomes. And so far, it seems like they're right on the same page.
Absolutely. So, want to talk about, as we get closer, we've got the bye week 4 But we got this Green Bay game coming up. We have seen some roster moves already, but let's talk about trying to get down to the final 53. So the Chiefs got down to 80, and now in 2 weeks they've got to lose another 30 pounds. So, kind of want to talk about that. The players that were released today were Lonnie Johnson, Gary Jennings, Omar Bayless, Evan and Austin Edwards and Devin Gray. So, out of some of the players who need a spot, who do you think makes the cut and who do you think doesn't?
I don't know. I know. This is the big name for me when it comes to the 53, right? Like who makes it and who doesn't? Who's on the cusp? Who's like on the border? And it's Josh Gordon, right? I know it's none of those names that you listed off, but for me, it's Josh Gordon. And I don't think Josh Gordon makes this team, buddy. I really don't, because how many wide receivers do you think we keep? 5?
I think we keep 5 or more. I wouldn't be surprised if we kept 6.
Okay, we'll go with 6. So you've got MVS, you've got Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, McCole Hardman, and Justin Watson as that 5th spot, right? And then at number 6, you got Darius Fountain. I don't think Josh Gordon's even in the top 7 right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Josh Gordon experiment is over.
100%.
I think I think that unless he does something spectacular, I think he's gone. I think that's the only reason he wasn't gone in this first round of cuts was because they're going, okay, well, I think we will see a lot of playing time from him on Thursday. And I think that like I said, I think if he doesn't show up and show out, barring a miracle, he's gone. So what at the end of the day, like, it's not surprising. Like we all hoped, you and I talked every week and we brought up the Josh Gordon experiment, and it was like, like, it's a complex offense. You got to give it time, etc. They're running complex defenses. Spagnuolo draws up complex defenses. And we spewed all that shit last year.
We've given them just about every excuse that we can give them.
Exactly. He's been out for 3 or 4 years. It's he's got to get his toes wet again. He's got to gain that experience again. Like I said, it's over. I'm not surprised. Josh Gordon's been in the league for 10 or 11 years now. And he hasn't played. I think he's accumulated 3 or 4 years of those 11 years to playing time. Is what I read in the offseason. Out of as long as he's been in the league, he's only accumulated like 3 seasons worth out of the 11 seasons he's been in the NFL because he couldn't stay out of trouble.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Like, whether or not that you agree if like the rules were necessary, they are the rules. The rules are the rules, and you either follow them or you don't play. And it's unfortunate it came down to that, but he pissed away a lot of his career.
Yeah, agreed. Do you have any surprises of who you think would make the team?
No, No, I don't think that we're gonna. I mean, we've talked about like Justin Fortson or Justin Watson, and that was the big surprise. Like, where did this kid even come from? Right? Like I think he comes from the Buccaneers. He's been 5 years in the league, and just mainly being a special teams guy the whole time. And now all of a sudden he just comes out of the woodworks. Has a great offseason, great preseason. I'm happy for the kid, but it's weird how that happens sometimes, man.
Yep. You think you know, and then you don't.
And you don't. You're right.
Yeah, man. It's always crazy. Like that's why I like everybody always shits on me because I love preseason football. Obviously not as much as regular season football, but I still watch it. If it's on, I watch it. So I always get a lot of shit from my friends, because it's like, why do you watch something so pointless? However, I don't think it's pointless because I like to see these guys, the Russell Wilson, who I always bring up stories like Russell Wilson's story in Seattle. Russ wasn't scheduled to start. Remember, they had signed the backup quarterback in Green Bay, Matt Flynn. Remember, Seattle signed Matt Flynn to a fat ass contract, and Russell Wilson beat him out. And Russell Wilson was supposed to be the backup rookie quarterback, who took time to learn under a veteran like Matt Flynn. And Russell Wilson, because of his preseason, his training camp and preseason work ethic and the way he played, beat out Matt Flynn, rightfully so. But like stories like Russell Wilson's, you wouldn't have seen coming if you didn't watch preseason and training camp and stuff like that. So that's why I love digging into preseason just as much as I do the off season, if not more.
100%. So let's go ahead and take a break.
Okay. Then when we come back, we'll do Thursday night's preview Thursday night's Chiefs Packers game.
Yep, we'll do that. We'll do a little game, guess the Chiefs player. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit about around the NFL, some things happening around the NFL.
Absolutely.
So don't go nowhere. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, 20 seconds or so. Oh, I gotta get my intro video back on. Drop the ball there.
No, you're good. Well, guys, while he's doing that, we'll go to our loading screen and get ready to head to break.
Second down and 10. It's coming. Mahomes gets away, keeps his eyes downfield and fires and completes it to Kelsey. What else? No. And Kelsey will block it inside the 20. Rolling inside the 10. Look at this. Kelsey's in the end zone. Crazy.
like it was over for a 2-yard loss. He bounces out of it and heads home for the score.
Fly in, you're going to see them meet. And they almost. I mean, this is impossible, right? Right there.
And lost the ball. Gordon fumbles. And it's picked up. Big ball. The former Missouri Tiger with a game-changing play. A scoop and score. Melvin Ingram knocked the ball loose from Melvin Gordon. And the Chiefs have the lead in this practice stud.
Turn the corner on Poyer and Hyde.
Hill, number 3 on the all-time Chiefs touchdown catch list with 1 tonight. Now just 1 catch shy of Otis Taylor. Here is Kelsey. Still going. Still going. Kelsey. Good night. Touchdown. Chiefs win it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Chase, I just got the best news in the world.
What's that?
I shared this. I shared our podcast out here to one of the Chiefs groups that I'm in. It got reported as spam.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. I was checking it on the break, and it said this post goes against community standards, and that we might get we might get shut down for a little bit. I don't know. I said I disagree with this decision.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's all right.
That's all right. We're on every platform there is. So fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Packers. Let's preview this Thursday night's game that you and me are going to be attending.
Oh, I'm so excited. Hey, so do you think that so traditionally, right, the third preseason game has always been the game where the starters play the most, right? But
Yes.
now there's only 3 preseason games. So how do you think this is going to work? You think that they're going to play them? We haven't heard anything, or I haven't at least.
Yeah, I think they asked Reed about it, and I actually think Reed said he hasn't decided yet or something. I want to say I saw something on Facebook scrolling where it said Reed wasn't sure. So
I would imagine it kind of depends on like the performance.
Yeah, like I said, I think since this is the last preseason game, I think he might let him come out for a couple of drives, and depending on how fast they score, I think if they score super quick like they did in the Chicago game, I think that they could pull him out right away. If they struggle a little bit, I could see him leaving them in for a couple of drives, maybe even a whole quarter.
Yeah.
But it's, I worry about that, and I obviously, Big Red knows what he's doing more than I do. But I'm saying that I worry about them doing that only because we're pretty injury stricken right now.
Yeah.
Got a lot of people that are limping around and not playing, and so very, very interesting to see what they do there.
So, what are you looking forward to the most coming into this game? Like, who needs to go out there and have a big game in order to make this team?
In order to make the team,
Or, I mean, who do you think goes out there and like, what position is a position to watch? You know, if you're just like looking for a reason, like, let's say, hey, I don't really watch preseason, but I'm going to give it a chance. Let's add a little spunk to it. Who do I need to watch?
oh yeah, like somebody who doesn't normally watch preseason.
Yeah.
Derek Gore is out, so obviously not Derek Gore. If you go watch the game, I want you to pay attention to Leo Chanel, and Jody Fortson, and Justin
Watson.
Watson. I want you to pay attention to those three, and then Isaiah Pacheco, because like I said, that's my expectation, not expectation, but that's my prediction for this game. Is I think you're going to see Pacheco used a lot in the backfield in this game. I think you and I are going to get an up close view at what Isaiah Pacheco can do in the backfield.
I'm excited. I didn't get to go out to training camp as much as I wanted to this year. Made it out there one time, and I had the little one with me, you know, so we did kid stuff.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to see him up close and personal, see what this hype's about, because you know we've heard Isaiah Pacheco hyped up all off season, but we ain't really seen him much on the field.
Yep.
So I'm super excited for Isaiah Pacheco as well. And then I'd have to agree with you, Jody Fortson. Keep your eye out on Jody Fortson. But I want you to watch the defensive line. Names like Colin Saunders, Mike Dana. Watch these guys because they're going to contribute.
Speaking of Colin Saunders, did you see that bullshit call?
Which one?
The roughing the passer one?
Yeah, I did.
On Colin Saunders?
Dude,
that was bullshit.
I
mean, I haven't gotten that hyped up about a preseason penalty in a long time. When I saw them throw the flag, and I was like, they're gonna pick this up. There's no way on God's green earth that's roughing the passer. Like, that's not roughing the passer if it's Tom Brady. Like, don't tell me that's roughing the passer.
Hey, these refs are preseason.
And then they called roughing the passer, and I about threw the TV. I was like, you are kidding me. I was like, how? I was waiting for a correction. I was like, no, here's going to come the main ref is going to come in, and he's going to pick that flag up, and he's going to be like, there's no foul on the play, and they never came.
It never came.
Yeah, I was like, this is they're dead serious right now. That's roughing the passer, and like I saw Big Red, like I saw Andy get a little heated about it, but I was like, Andy, come on, dude, let's throw the clipboard down. Let's throw the Waffle House menu down and stomp on it, and throw. I want to see a temper fit over a preseason game. You could see he wanted to. He looked at that ref and he was like nodding, and like you could tell he was like yelling at him, and then he kind of just let it go and walked away. And I was like, dude, if he throws down the Waffle House menu, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, hey, if you're gonna do it, do it. Yeah, I mean, I get mad.
Yeah. Somebody, I could hear it the next day. Somebody would go, Andy Reid got thrown out of the game because of a preseason penalty. Who throws a fit over preseason? I don't care. That call was bullshit.
Hey,
I was.
You practice like you play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, preseason or not, you do it like you do it in the regular season. You play.
That's right. Yeah, gosh, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what he was thinking on that play because they showed it over and over again. And I think they were trying, like, at first they were like, oh, he was trying to, hit him in the chest and knock him down. And then, like, it wasn't even that. Like, he walked up and he kind of, like, he pushed him. So, other than that, buddy, the only thing around the NFL that I've got for us tonight that really, because I mean, I'm so sick and tired of talking about the other shit, and we haven't even
Oh,
talked about it that much this offseason.
I tell you, one of these
Yeah,
times, my man, we were gonna get on here and it was gonna be over with, and that time
yep,
has finally come.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
like I said, I'm sick of talking about the shit, so I'm not going to. We already talked about the QB battle in in the Carolina last week. Um, the obvious choice, Baker Mayfield. But the only thing I've got for us this week is Pete Carroll has announced that he will take his time deciding on who to go with, Geno Smith or Drew Lock. Now, Drew Lock is obviously I'm a homer. I'm a Mizzou fan. You're an Oklahoma fan. And I
yeah,
think that's good. Your dad's family is originally from Oklahoma, isn't that right?
yeah, they're all
Okay.
down there in
Yeah.
Norman.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's not weird that you're an OU fan, but obviously I'm a homer, so I'm a Mizzou fan. And Drew Lock was an idiot then, and he's an idiot now. Like, dude, like seriously, you were a starting quarterback of a team, and now you are so fucking pathetic that there is actually a coach weighing the option to start Geno Smith over you. Geno Smith, like I'd I'd take I'd take the kid with one arm to throw the quarterback over Geno Smith. And Pete Carroll's really deciding between you and Geno Smith? Drew Lock, you're trash, bro.
Yeah,
You were
Seattle's
trash at
in trouble.
Missouri. You were trash at Missouri. You were trash in Denver. The last time you were good is when you were 20 miles from the house playing at Lee Summit. That's the only time you were good, bro. That's it. So
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, dude. When the hit, like, I would be offended if I was Drew Lock. I'd be like, yo, get me the fuck off this team. I can't believe he just said that on national media. All he had to say was we're working it out. But to go, we're having a hard time. This is we're having a hard time deciding who. We're gonna take our time, bro.
yeah.
If it's you and Geno Smith, if it's down between you and Geno Smith,
You
and somebody
already
says,
lost.
yeah, I was gonna say, and somebody says we have to take our time deciding who, it's over, brother. It's over.
Yeah.
So I wanted to rub that in. I'm not a big Drew Lock fan. I'm a huge Mizzou fan, and I was not a huge fan of him when he was at Mizzou. So when I saw that headline today about them having a hard time to decide who to go with, Geno or Drew, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trash. I'm gonna take a fat shit on top of Drew tonight. So,
Yeah, man.
uh,
The only other thing I had is um, I thought it was really odd. I do want to go ahead and say something about the Deshaun Watson scenario. I thought it was really coincidental that they ended up settling, and his first game back is against the Houston Texans. And I just wanted to throw it out there that it's really odd. It's
wouldn't
really
it
odd.
wouldn't that be hilarious if uh wouldn't that be hilarious if he planned it that way? Hey, like the NFL wanted all year, and he was like, I'll do this many games, and then like he eventually just sat down and told him, listen, I just want to play against Houston this year. That's all I want to do. And then so finally the NFL was like, all right, we'll back off the whole season. 11 games, your first game back against Houston.
Yeah,
I would die if that's
I
how
could see it. I could see
if
it.
that's how the negotiations went.
And
If
I could also see it to where the NFL was like, look, the only way we're going to be willing to accept a shorter punishment in a full year is if you come back on this date. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds more like the NFL, some rich white guy shit.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, either way, maybe it was a mutual thing where like the NFL brought it up, and then Deshaun was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds good," I'll come back and
No. They said, "Hey, we want you all season." Then he was like, "Listen, I just let me play against the Texans. That's all I want." And they'll go, "Okay, 11 games. That's fine."
They were like, "Oh wait, we can make some money off of that."
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're right. It was his idea, and they probably capitalized off that shit.
Hey, so I'm gonna make a joke, and then we should end the show because it probably is not the funniest, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it anyways. If I was Houston, I would call all 24 women to be cheerleaders on the sideline.
Oh my God.
If I'm the Houston Texans, I'm calling all 24 women and saying, "Hey, grab some pom poms. We'll pay you 10 grand, or we'll pay you something each. Grab some pom poms and go to the sideline." All 24 of them.
All right. Well, on that note. All right, guys. Hey, look, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Hey, don't forget to hit that follow button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. It takes 5 seconds to do. Helps out way more than you might think. And until next time, he said, Anthony Humphreys, appreciate you tuning in. Key Williams, I see you. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you tuning in. Hey, until next time, stay legendary, my friends. Peace out.